difficult for families to care for a loved one in pain and nearing the end of their lives. That's where Hope Hospice steps in. A locally owned organization, Hope Hospice specializes in caring for those with a prognosis of 6 months or less to live. Here from Hope Hospice is Community Liaison Sarah Bilbrey. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
So hospice is something that most of us really don't get involved with. We don't know a lot about because we haven't needed it.
No. Again, I don't think it's the fact that people haven't needed it. I think it's the stigma that comes along with hospice. You know, death is inevitable for us all. Mm-hmm. However, people aren't very comfortable speaking about it. Mm-hmm. Not only is it not necessary, hospice isn't recommended. So how would you know to look further into it? Mm-hmm. Hospice care, again, it is for individuals with a terminal condition that if the disease was to run its normal course, the disease would take their life within 6 months. However, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's to come, so that is not always the case. Mm-hmm. In no way do we prolong life, but we don't hasten life either.
Right. So a patient has a diagnosis that of a terminal illness, or they're an elderly person nearing the end of their natural life. And do typically the recommendations for hospice care come from the physician or the care facility? Who do you hear from?
Both. Again, mm-hmm. You know, we do have relationships with nursing facilities in the area, assisted living, as well as physicians, home health agencies. But anybody can make a referral if they think that someone would fit into the criteria that we have. They can absolutely call and we can help with the process of contacting the physician. Because honestly, hospice referrals are not always done in a timely manner. Physicians, they learn to cure, heal, save lives. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't necessarily want to have that talk with their patient about death either.
So some physicians may be hesitant to recommend hospice because of the perception of this being near the end of life.
Absolutely, and like I said, with the stigma, you know, people a lot of times think that you must be on death's doorstep mm-hmm. in order to receive hospice mm-hmm. care. Mm-hmm. Again, we're not expediting the process by any means. We're just making them comfortable. In many cases, we are providing the exact same level of care as far as therapies and so forth as they were receiving prior to hospice, except they are receiving additional support, additional services that they weren't before.
Okay, so anybody can use hospice care who's in this situation, mm-hmm. is what I'm hearing from you. And does medical care continue during that time, or does the hospice care worker take over for the medical team?
The family, it's very much a family-focused plan of care. The patient is in the driver's seat. If they're alert and capable of making their own decisions, they tell us when to stop, when to go, and when to shift gears. In no way do we take over, but we do help manage it.
And so give me an example of some things that a hospice care worker may do.
Well, we have a nursing staff that provide comfort measures. You know, they make sure that the patient is on the most appropriate medication. And again, working with their primary physician. We don't take over, we work with the physician. We still have to have authorization to make any changes. So they make sure they're on the appropriate medication, the appropriate equipment is in the home that could alleviate pain. We have home health aides that provide personal services, bathing, dressing, grooming, social worker, chaplain, massage therapist.
So the hospice care worker can coordinate with all of these other members of the team?
Sure, okay. Yeah, they manage the case. Is okay. What the registered nurse
And
does.
Do they go into the patient's home or whatever facility they're in every day?
Sometimes, but not necessarily. Mm-hmm. Again, we're not there around the clock, but we are there as needed. Nurse, again, typically twice a week. Our home health aides typically go in 3 days a week, and then the other disciplines are dependent on the patient's need and desire for their services. Okay. I think our average at this point in time is maybe 10 visits per 7 days.
Okay.
So,
from
but
some member of the team.
That doesn't mean necessarily that one person each day.
Right.
But yes.
Okay, that's quite a bit of care. We're going to take a quick break right now, Sarah. We're going to come back and hear more from Sarah about Hope Hospice, her organization, after this quick break. Stay tuned.